Welcome back to WagerTalk.com. We're going to take a look back at the first college playoff series. We had the first 4 teams battle it out. We're down to 2. We'll take a deeper look at this next week, Brian, as far as breaking the game down. But just wanted to kind of recap yesterday, get your thoughts, and a little sneak peek ahead to what we're looking at for the championship game. And, you know, I got to tell you, a lot of people will go to the first game, the Rose Bowl. A lot of people were loving Florida State in that game. A lot of sharp bettors were taking Florida State in the points, and they just got smacked around. I mean, it was a game for, you know, over a half, and then you blink your eye, and all of a sudden, it's a 29-point game, and that's how Oregon does it.
Yeah, turnovers tend to widen the score, and when you play in a fast offense like Oregon does, and you don't have a lot of depth, that really comes into account in the second half, and that's the way it worked out for Oregon.
You know, you watch the game in Florida State for, like we said, most of the game, played well. Both teams were trading punches, but it's like Florida State had to work for it, go down the field. Oregon gets those quick scores, and it's like that constant pressure, you know, where Oregon's, you know, they get to the line quick, you got to adjust. And if you just if you're out of breath or just, you know, not in a proper alignment, just that one split second, you get that easy score. Somebody's wide open, and all of a sudden it's a 50-yard, you know, touchdown play. And that pressure, you know, how do you stop that? I mean, what is the defense? You know, they tried to slow these teams down a little bit where the referees, you know, mark the ball and stuff, but still, they've got shot clocks on how quick they're getting the plays off, and you know, now you've got people doing the numbers that they want to be able at a certain percentage each game to be getting the plays off, and I don't know how you can combat it.
What made it even worse for Florida State is they had plenty of time to prepare for it. It wasn't like it was a regular season matchup where you only got the 1 week. Those are the teams that are having success, so until somebody stops them or slows them down, you're going to continue to see more of it. I know, you know, Alabama was a staunch opponent of people spreading the field and that kind of thing, and now we saw where they are at. So, you know, I like it because it means that teams that don't have the best talent can play. It's like sort of like the military teams that do the option because they don't have big enough players, they don't have the big physical guys, and they're able to stay in some of these games. Look at Georgia Tech. I mean, I didn't think Georgia Tech was going to win that game, but the way they play makes them dangerous because teams haven't seen it, and Oregon's one of those teams that just, you know, they just want to rush, and if you haven't seen a lot of that, it leaves you at a definite disadvantage.
Now, Ohio State coming from the Big Ten, where you don't see a lot of the, you know, that, and only having a little over a week to play, you got a few extra days. Can they adjust and get a game plan executed to stop this offense?
You know, that's the big story here. I don't know if I want to go against Urban Meyer. I've always loved Urban Meyer. I know people in Florida don't feel the same way. Obviously, I'm an Ohio State fan, and he's from that area, Bowling Green and all. I went, you know, coached at Utah out here in the Mountain West. But a great underdog coach, and he finds ways to prepare his team. So that's what you've got here. You've got the Oregon speed, Alabama doesn't have that kind of speed. They were more of a physical team. So it's a big differential from playing Alabama, which is an excellent team. They just caught them in a bad day. Now they're playing just the opposite, another speed team like Ohio State. And it's interesting, you know, the line as we're taping this is up, the total's up to 74. Now, how many times you see a total of 74? But you have to keep that in mind. Ohio State wants to play fast too, and that's how why they had a lot of success in the Big Ten. Even with the third-string quarterback, is playing fast on some of these teams that don't normally see it. And as you pointed out, you know, the Big Ten's not known for that type of speed.
Okay. Now, with that said, let's take it a step further. You want to do something that other people don't do, so that gives you an advantage. But when you're doing something that somebody else does on a regular basis and they're the inventor of it, you know, do you want to play their game because that's what they're good at?
Oregon's going to score points in this game. Everybody's saying that. What are they scoring, like 44 points a game lately? Ohio State's going to have to put points up. They cannot afford just sit back and let Oregon do it. They're going to have to do the same thing. And a lot of times, you'll see that in I won't say his name, but a former colleague of ours who handicaps boxing, he talked about that in matches. The style makes a match. And when you've got a Mike Tyson guy or somebody that just comes right at you, his opponent is very similar to him, they're not used to it. Right. So that may be the way to go for Ohio State, because Oregon usually doesn't see teams that want to match them.
Coaching-wise, got to give the huge edge to Urban Meyer, just because he's won everywhere he's gone. He knows how to get a game plan ready. We don't know as much about the Oregon coach taking over after Chip Kelly left and everything. Quarterback-wise, Cardale Jones has done everything that you could possibly ask a third-string quarterback to do. I was shocked that he was able to do what he did yesterday. I thought, okay, he had his game against Wisconsin. Wisconsin doesn't have the best defense, and the first game, you got to give the advantage to Ohio State a little bit, because there was no game film on him. He came in at the end of the Michigan game. What are they going to do? What plays are they going to call for him? So it's a little bit of an advantage going into that Wisconsin game. Now, with a month to prepare and an entire game to look at film, I thought Alabama would have a better, game plan to stop him. And they had a 21-6 lead. They had an opportunity to put this team away, but give Ohio State credit. Getting the score and then getting that last one right before the half, that was the total momentum changer. And then you come out and score the first one in the second half. They took the game away from Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama came in, and I'll be the first to admit, because in the contest, the Golden Nugget contest, I used the SEC against the Big Ten as much as I could, because I thought they had that advantage. But as we have seen, when teams get tired of hearing about the SEC, they prepare a little bit more. So it's a David Goliath type of thing. So that was something where maybe Alabama took Ohio State for a little bit for granted. Who knows? But I can't wait for this game. This is going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be, obviously, with a total of 74, there's going to be a lot of points on the board. You've got
Won't be boring, that's for sure.
Two great programs. We'll see how it comes out.
All right. We'll go a little more in depth next week on the videos, see where the line settles after the public gets involved. He's Brian Leonard. I'm Marco D'Angelo. Hope you enjoyed the sneak peek at the championship game for next week. We'll go a little more in detail next week here on WagerTalk.com.